All right. Glad everybody could be here. We're excited to kick this thing off. We'll just dive right in. So introductions, Chris, we had introductions with everybody. I'm Michael Kidd with Root Design Studio, and I'm going to be the primary point of contact on the design side for the project. Heather is going to be the primary contact for you guys.
Yeah, I'm staying.
Between Heather and Chris
Okay.
and myself, one of us
We'll
be available.
Yeah,
I'll copy all three like we talked about. Yep. Is there a primary contact for the county?
if there is, it would be Rob Morgan, county manager.
I think you've got his email address.
Yeah, I should. Is that in, please? Great.
Thank you.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So the first thing, I'm sure everybody knows, this is being funded through the GOSA grant, the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program grant with the state of Georgia. We have the signed agreement, which was signed actually back in September of 2024. Everything has been taken care of as far as the grant goes. That has been awarded. That agreement has been executed. So we've just been waiting to get this thing kicked off, getting all our ducks in a row, who's doing what. We are behind on the schedule. The grant comes with a 24-month time frame for project completion. That said, there are lots and lots of these projects that go beyond 24 months, and they have a extension request process. And the word that I was given from the grant coordinator is that they have to date never denied a time extension for a project. We just have to give them the reasons why we need extra time and let them know how much time we need. She said that the best course of action is to wait until about 90 days prior to the deadline, which in this case would be beginning of September of this year. So 90 days back from that would be about June 1st. So June 1st, we will submit a request letter. They have a form that you have to fill out. We'll submit that to the state to request additional time. At that point, we'll be far enough along in the design process that we'll know how much time we need to request to complete the project all the way through construction. So just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page as far as that goes. As I mentioned, everything else that was required for the grant has been cleared and buttoned up. We had to go through the HPD office for historic resources. That was cleared. No resources impacted. We had to do a phase 1 environmental assessment. That was cleared. So we're in good shape. The surveyor is on site currently working on the topographic survey for the project area. He said today that he should be completed with his field work this week. And then it'll probably be another week or so before he can get us the CAD drawings, the digital files for the project survey. And then that's really when we can get started full bore on the design and engineering for the project. One thing that I do want to get that I don't actually have access to anymore, since Heather changed the login for the grant to her, the commitments that Beth had in the application, I want to make sure that we print that out and that we have a copy of that.
Okay.
I didn't have that in my files. Just to make sure we don't miss anything that we said, hey, we're going to do this for the grant, and they come back and say, well, you didn't do that. We're not going to reimburse you the money. There shouldn't be any huge surprises. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything as we go through it. And then so the grant program is a reimbursement grant. So as we go through the process, you guys would request those reimbursements as you pay invoices. And I think all that paperwork has been done at this point with the grant folks. So that's all good to go. They've got your W-9, they've got your bank account information. So I don't think there's any issues with that. So unless anybody else is aware of anything, as far as the grant goes, we're all set.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much up to date on the with the updates with the state. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we haven't had any updates, so
Right.
we'll probably just have to.
Well, Heather's had to do some updates and the fact that there wasn't any updates.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so she's kept up with DNR that way.
Right.
So
Good.
Yeah, it's just rocking and rolling now.
Yep. Okay. So to get to the heart of this thing, the scope and the budget. So I've got a few copies of the budget that you guys are looking at. So that's the 11 by 17 with the yellow highlighted items. So that's we had to submit a proposed budget for the grant application, which was done 2 years ago. The estimate would have been done probably a year prior to that. So it's got some age on it at this point. But we had a professional estimator go through the project, and we're not far off because of the nature of the work in this project. We're not actually that far off, and we feel like we can comfortably get the work done that's required in the grant within our budget. The red arrows and the yellow highlights, that's basically we had to shift money from the original proposed budget. The majority of the work, the in-kind work from the county was going to be the asphalt paving, so that's been switched now. Take a look through that, and Rob, I know you've seen this already, so just wanted to double check, triple check, make sure we're all good on what you guys have committed to on the county side of things for the work that needs to get done.
So Chris is with the road department. They're going to be
Okay.
doing the majority of this in-kind work.
Okay.
So he'll
Great.
be your contact probably there if you need.
Great.
Yes, my understanding is that we reviewed this, provided it back to
Yep.
Matt, and that's what was provided to you before our last meeting in
That's right.
December.
Yep. Absolutely.
This, you taking questions now?
Yeah.
So the curb gutter stuff, 24 inch, is that, we're just setting up we're not pouring the concrete, we're just setting it up, right? I don't have a curbing machine. Man, that number's pretty
So
low.
that number for the curb and gutter was moved into the general contractors column.
So the one in the middle is what we're going to be doing,
Yeah.
Chris.
We're in the middle.
Oh, I got you. I'm confused here. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a little confusing.
I got you.
The numbers that remain in this middle column,
Okay.
that's what you guys would be helping with.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah, this is what we looked at.
Yeah, a lot of it's grading and GAB.
Okay. Got it.
So anything in there like the reinforced grass overflow parking, we can discuss that. The stream bank restoration, we'll discuss that about how we're going to tackle that. There's a lot of different ways we can make that work. But yeah, go through it when you have a minute, and any questions you have, just we can start talking through that now and figure out how we're going to tackle everything. All right, and then we've also got the maps, so that's basically just a graphic representation of where all this is going to take place. I did want to note when we released the surveyor to do their work, so the parking that's shown on the master plan that was called out as part of the grant extends through some of the existing ball fields that are right up next to the road. So we're having to modify that a little bit. We still want to try to get the same amount of parking that we showed in the master plan, but we might have to leapfrog over those existing fields to make that happen, because all the parking really needs to be along the perimeter to leave room for the ball fields and the future development of the park. So just wanted to make that note. It's not gonna, there probably will be a gap in the parking.
Mhm.
Some of it may be up here.
Okay.
I imagine that we'll probably have to move some of this disc golf over to that new land as well.
Yeah, we might. We might. It's going to depend on how
Looks
many
like how much-
holes,
Yeah.
how many holes we end up doing, and how that lays out through there. So that brings up the next point I had on here, disc golf.
Okay.
So there are the whole project is part of this grant request, but there are pieces of the project that are going to be performed in different ways. Obviously, the county's going to be doing some of the work. A general contractor is going to be doing some of the work. There are a couple elements like the disc golf course that will probably bring in a third-party specialist to help lay that out and potentially install the course as a kind of a standalone contract, not associated with the general contract.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have not.
Okay, so basically, what he told me was that his fee would include him laying out the course, and then if we needed to reach out to him for some of the equipment, he has the ability to get the equipment at a reduced rate.
Okay.
And the guy we've got 3 guys we've sent to you.
Yep.
One of them's done the 3 courses in Griffin, and then he's done a bunch of others. His name's Kevin McCoy, and he's done quite a few different disc golf courses around it. He's a professional disc golfer. He's 52 now, so he's kind of on the back end of his career, I guess, as you would say. But I suspect he'll probably be one of the top 2 candidates for us to look at. And
Okay.
the other guy being the guy from North Georgia, I think he's a professional as well. So,
Mhm. Okay.
but they both all that included in their fee is laying out the golf course, and then I guess they can work with Chris to figure out
Yeah.
what kind of equipment we need. And I
Right.
think it's mostly going to be mulching heads and stuff like that, Chris.
Yeah.
They got those.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, typically with those, you've got a concrete pad for your tee box, and then it's just clearing to create a fairway, and then you've got the little basket at the end. So there's not a whole lot of construction. It's really more
That's
just
right.
clearing. So we'll get that incorporated through there. One of the issues that I meant to mention in the grant information, which relates to this, you mentioned that some of the disc golf may spill into that additional property. Has that been taken care of, transferred
Conveyance.
yet?
We have, so there is a conveyance of the property that still hasn't happened. We just got to make it happen. I'd imagine the rec board would create the deed and just get it to the county manager so the commission can vote on it, even though the commission's already voted on it. But we'd have to I'm assuming that that's the play. The play would be is we get the deed to you, we'll get it done and just get it to you, and then it had to go before the commission to be formalized. Is that the right answer?
Is Randy doing an actual survey for that new property?
Not with what he's doing.
He's just doing.
He's just
Me?
doing
Topo.
topo survey.
Okay.
for-
Meanwhile, until that happens, until there's the official transfer, there's not any issue from the county for us getting on that property and doing what we got to do with the surveying. I mean, there's not any trespassing issues, right?
We probably need to have just something in writing as far as
Okay.
similar to a construction easement.
Okay.
There's not any question on that.
Okay.
Because the sooner we can identify the property, the better.
All right. I'm gonna have Kevin do it. He's a dirt attorney. That'd be the easiest.
He's our attorney too.
He's the rec board's attorney.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's going to do the survey. But
No,
we
I
have-
don't think we need to use this. I
no,
don't think we
we've
need a
got
survey.
Randy Davis. I don't know Tara. What's this company's name?
Terra Services.
Terrace all at once. So Randy Davis is doing the survey. That started
Well,
last
he's
week.
just doing the
Yeah.
topo.
He's doing a topo.
Yeah. Now, if we needed him to hire him to do the survey, well, I don't know that we need to hire him to do a survey because we could close off the original legal that they have when they acquired the property.
And we also,
We're looking.
I think the Board of Commissioners hasn't really identified the area that's needed So I guess that would be the discussion.
Okay.
We had to provide that in the grant as some of the deed language for that parcel. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident I know which piece of property it is. It's the, it passes down to Rob. It's the third, that's half of a legal description. But it's a 35 acres that is
Right there. You can see it on this side pretty clear.
Yeah, it's here.
That triangle at the bottom left.
Yeah. Which I think is all uninhabited stuff, because the only part of this property that we're going to have to stay off of or keep from getting around is here. And you can almost see the tree line, how that is, because that used to be the landfill. Something. I don't know. There's trash there.
Cars.
There's cars and there's trees growing through cars and stuff back here. But you can kind of see where that used to be cut out. And now these trees are old trees. You can see that line. But everything else is still it's other than the wetland that we have to figure out how not to disturb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is pretty open and good to go. We'll get the conveyance. We'll get that done.
All right.
Don't let us hold you up.
No, it's not going to hold us up. Just
Make it happen.
putting it on the to-do list.
Okay.
All right. So another item that would kind of follow its own track in terms of development as part of this project is one of those commitments that we made in the grant application, which was to do this bee meadow. So part of the grant application was a 2-acre meadow to support bee habitat. And I know there might be some eye rolling about that, but it's a legitimate thing, and it got a lot of points for the grant. And we need to make sure that we do that. So
They wrote the law school.
Who's this?
okay,
Wrote the law school.
UGA Extension Office.
Okay.
great. So I've got on my design team, I've got a friend of mine that I went to graduate school who's worked up and down the East Coast, and he's done a lot of meadow installations over the last 20 years. So he's got tons of experience with this. So he's going to be helping us on the design side. He knows how to pull these things together and manage everything. It's really kind of a land management project to establish a meadow. One of the biggest factors is it's getting rid of stuff that you don't want first. And that can take most of this year, because you got to get rid of the warm season weeds during the summer, and then you got to get rid of the cool season weeds during the winter before you're even ready to put down new seeds for the meadow species. The total timing of that will work out and coincide with the construction of the project, but that component is not going to fit in the scope of a general contractor's typical work. So we'll definitely reach out to the UGA Extension Office, and we'll be talking with you guys. There's typically you end up needing some farm equipment to do this kind of work. A tractor and a seed drill is usually what you end up needing.
I believe we could probably find somebody local.
Yeah.
I
So
bet we could find
that's
One
what
of our
we figured.
donors has already said they would bring their seed drill
Yeah.
over here too. So.
Yeah. So that'll be kind of working in parallel to everything else. One of the first things we're going to do is Matt and lady in my office are going to come down and do a site visit and stake out where the best location would be for that meadow.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that doesn't conflict with any of the construction work that needs to be done. So we'll get that coordinated, and then they'll start working on the process for weed eradication and getting ready for the installation next year. Any other questions or concerns or issues for the scope of the project that anybody sees right now? I mean, the gist of this, we've got passive amenities. We've got walking trails. We've got disc golf. We've got this meadow project. And then we've got parking. And that's kind of the gist of the project. The passive amenities are allowing us to build critically needed parking for the park. And the majority of the grant funding is actually paying for the parking. So this particular grant program does not allow for construction of ball fields as part of their funding for the grant. So this is all the stuff kind of on the periphery.
So scope wise, with congressional funding looking like it's come, I mean, it was signed into law last Tuesday. That's for an electrical upgrade of the park. So new lighting, new electrical upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that, or the best case scenario is that we're going to be wanting to go underground with a lot of that and get the aerial out and go underground with a lot of everything. We're fixing this grant project is going to pave a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to need to be a coordination between hoping that everything falls in line, that we can get the electrical done, because this is two separate scopes, two different projects.
Right.
In line to where that can happen, we can get the stuff in ground for the electrical side without messing up the timeline for the paving.
Yeah.
Is that a realistic expectation that we could pull that off?
Yeah, I mean, whether we get the electrical done first or we have to put in sleeves, I think either way we can make that work. And for the paving of the parking lot, there's not a whole lot of electrical that's going to be on the road side of the parking. Most of the electrical is interior to the.
Is there parking? Itself. Are there parking lights?
There will need to be.
Because I would imagine with the electrical upgrade, there's probably going to be a gear upgrade,
mm-hmm.
and it may change where the gear is actually located.
Okay.
So it could affect the power source, where you're going to draw power from may change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we'll just have to coordinate all that and make sure that, like I said, whichever one goes first, make sure it doesn't mess up the one coming after.
Are there issues with there being a DNR grant and like two different projects happen at the same time that can cause issues with DNR?
No.
With the Stewart, there's nothing.
No.
The overlap's not going to cause any issues.
No, they have lots of projects that involve multiple contractors in different phases and different funding sources. And this grant actually allows for other grant funding to apply to the match. So that was one of the kind of cherries on top, that if the congressional funding did come in, that can actually contribute to the matching funds for this grant.
I misheard that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If the other grant will work that way.
That's fantastic.
Maybe
not for United.
Win for all, right?
Yeah. That line of credit may be in the form of congrat. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
One way to get.
Glad you could come, Stuart.
Right.
Good. That's good information to know, because that takes pressure off the tax base.
Yeah, I double checked that when the congressional funding issue was going on last year, or whenever that was. I double checked that with DNR.
When do people see? When does the public see work?
Okay, good. That's a perfect segue to the next section of the agenda, which is the schedule.
I just did that in one sentence, guys.
Mark this down on the calendar.
Put that in a minute.
All right, so
One sentence.
second page schedule. So this is a fairly aggressive schedule to get this done, but we need to be aggressive because we're behind the 8 ball. So Pre-design, which is primarily the survey at this point, that'll be done by the end of this month. Schematic design is really taking the survey, taking the components that are required in the grant, the master plan, and refining that into a workable scope of work for this particular project. It's just a refinement of the original master plan. So that's, you're looking at a month for that. So that's end of March. Then we would go straight into construction documents, which is really preparing the documents, the design and engineering documents for the general contractors to bid on. So any work that's going to be bid out, that falls under that construction documents phase. That's going to take a few months. So we're looking at June time frame to be done with CDs for the work that's going to be bid out. So that coincides with when we need to file our extension request to the grant folks. So we should, at that point, have most of the design drawings done. I say most. The drawings for the work that's going to be let to contractors would need to be pretty much done at that point. Some of these other things, disc golf, bee meadow, those sort of things are going to kind of be moving in the background along with the whole project. But at that June timeframe, that's when we need to submit the time extension to DNR. And that's when we're going to shoot for submitting the first permit documents. So one of the things that we're going to need out here is a stream buffer permit. And that can take a little bit of time to get that approved. And then we'll have to get a land disturbance permit through the county.
Any other permits you foresee us needing?
Yeah, I mean, we're in LIA, but we don't have a MOU, so everything goes through PWC.
Okay.
In Athens, so you'll submit all your erosion control through them.
Yeah.
So
that adds a little time as well.
it's a minimum of 30.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
usually
so-
45 to 60.
Good.
So I've got a couple months in there for permitting to cover erosion control and stream buffer. So that puts us August, then bidding. So we can be preparing all the bidding documents while we're in for permitting, so that when we get those approved permit drawings, we're ready to go in terms of the public bid. That typically is going to take about a month from the time you advertise until the time you're reviewing the bids to make an award. And then the contract negotiation, award, and execution of the general contractor's construction contract will take probably another month to get their bonds and insurance and paperwork and get all that buttoned up. That's usually about a month-long process. So that puts us in October before the contractor is on board and ready to get started on the actual work.
That's perfect because the end of spring, the end of fall season is October. So it would work. It worked perfect. So this fall, we could still not have to shut the park down for any fall sports, and you can start in October, November, with an empty park.
Football be able to work around.
Football can work around it.
Yeah, but it'll
And if
be
they
toward
don't-
the last
If
part.
they don't work around it, I probably need to get in touch with Holmes and the school and see if we can. They've been really good with us this year, right? As far as letting us use the football field, or if we have to do something up here and use this side of the park to try to facilitate that. We've got up here in the side to try to pull that off. So
We might be
football is the only thing we're going to have to worry about.
the games. We could probably work out the schedules for the games to be off-site for the month of October. In November
Yeah.
is the Super Bowl time, so if we can work the schedule out to around that.
That's best case. Best case is the fact that this will start when all the diamond sports are coming
Right.
to the end
Right.
of the season. Okay.
And then there's still, once that contract is executed and they're ready to get started, there's still mobilization and ordering materials, and there's still,
Some time.
behind the scenes work that's taking place before any dirt's actually getting moved.
Sure.
And of course, we'll need to coordinate the grading work and how that's going to mesh between the county and the general contractor.
When do you think the grading, which is out of November, December, January? When do you see the county having to come in full throttle like that?
Probably, hopefully, if this schedule holds, we would be ready to start.
If it absolutely,
But you're gonna have the construction designs prior to that, so
Yeah.
we'll have a heads up on when these.
and even if
Yeah.
if we had to do part of it in the winter and then come back and do the rest of it in the
Motion
summer,
work and anything in the woods in the wintertime.
that'd be
Moving
Yeah.
dirt, it's not
Yeah.
like it.
yeah.
So we'll just
You won't be able to pave till summer.
we'll need to just coordinate that as we go through the process and see what makes the most sense.
I'm good with that.
That's
Is that
pretty
it?
much it.
Man, I love it.
So short and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless everybody wants to go longer. Does anybody want to stay here longer?
Go ahead, man.
No, okay, good, fantastic. So, can we go out front in front of the door out here? And I love this. I love it. Thank y'all for showing up. This is amazing. Can we go outside and get like a photo?
Did want
Everybody?
to mention thanks, Stewart, because United Bank
Stuart,
gave us $15,000 on this project. Kiwanis has given us $15,000 through a donation, and the Lacey Foundation has given us $15,000 on this project.
yeah, that's very appreciative. Thank you.